this is what we employ. This is the strategies that we use and what we're having great results with. So this is Local SEO Tactics, where each week we bring you tips and tricks to help you get more exposure online. This week, we're going to be talking about what are the essential pages to have on your website. I had this question from many folks out there, and we just kind of answer that, kind of get it out there for how to have a nice, well-rounded website and what are the main pages you want to have on there. You may have all these pages already. Maybe you don't. We're going to kind of break down also what are some of the elements to have on these pages. So hope this helps you guys out. Stay tuned. Enjoy. Hey, everyone. Bob and Jesse. We want to talk to you real quick about Review Lead. We've talked about it for a few weeks in a row now, but all of you Local SEO Tactics listeners, special discount. It's $150 a month. If you haven't checked it out yet, check it out. intrix.com/review150. One feature we want to highlight here today is the negative side of the reviews. I think everything we've talked about is getting more reviews, how to leverage those reviews and what you do with them. What we haven't talked about is people that leave you a bad review. This is pretty powerful on two fronts. One, this is going to get you more positive reviews, right? So if you are having any bad reviews on your website, or if you get one once in a while, this is going to outweigh that, a huge benefit. But there's people that are still going to be not satisfied.
Right.
Even if you're an awesome business, you just can't please everybody all the time. And to an extent, you should expect, some bad reviews coming in, even if you think you're perfect. Those people, they're going to find you, and they're going to seek out vengeance and leave you a negative review. A really cool application here with Review Lead is you kind of get out in front of it. Instead of hoping that they don't actually go to the website and leave you a nasty review like they promised they would when they were running out of your store or whatever it was, hanging up the phone. Instead, you get in front of them. You send them out an email or a text, just like you would every other customer, asking for that feedback. And what Review Lead is going to do is say, give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And what did you think of our experience? Obviously, you guys know if it's a good experience, they click thumbs up. You ask them to leave your review, and the automation takes hold after that. Now, if they click thumbs down, if they're that person that had a bad experience, they're presented with a feedback form. Google updated its policy a couple months ago saying you can't completely block somebody for leaving a review. If you're going to kind of solicit this review or get in front of them to get a review, you can't avoid the option of leaving a review. So this satisfies the compliance with Google. There's a little link underneath this feedback form that says, click here if you still wish to leave a review online. But most people, they just want to voice this, right? When they're unhappy, they may go through and leave that review online, a negative review. We'll talk about what to do in a second here on that. But they'll be presented with this feedback form. And most of the people are going to fill out that feedback form, get it off their chest, voice that to you. And then you as the business owner, you're going to get an email with that. Might not be very fun to get, but still, if somebody had a bad experience, they had a bad experience.
Right.
Whatever level of truth is in there, that's kind of to be found out situation by situation. But you're going to get this feedback. It's great to review with your team, still dissect exactly what went wrong, and jump on it to try to satisfy that customer before they do go out to every other spot and leave you negative reviews. So this is kind of cool to kind of block them from leaving the review online to an extent, and also get out in front of it and solicit that from them instead of waiting for them to just blow up later and leave you some nasty reviews. You're getting out in front of them and really presenting them a highway on where to go with this. Now, if somebody does leave you a bad review, again, another feature of Review Lead is it's going to tell you when you're getting a review. It's going to automatically send you an email alerting you that. You can quickly get on there, either discredit that review if there was some flagrant, violations or untruthfulness there. You can post that online for everybody to see, or you can contact that customer directly. But that is the other side of if they leave you a negative review, you can quickly respond.
And you do want to respond. You don't want to leave it blank, obviously, and just but you want to respond in such a way that you don't want to get argumentative. You just want to state the facts.
State the facts. Put your phone number out there for the business. Say, hey, Bob, sorry you had a really bad time. We'd like to reach out to you and trying to call you already. Here's our phone number. Get a hold of us. We want to rectify this. This is not typical. Write it so you know that everybody else in the public is going to see this, right? You don't want to you don't want to argue with the customer like you're saying. That's absolutely horrible. That's going to look really bad for you. But reach out to them. And we've actually had a lot of success with our own businesses and coaching our customers. You can turn those reviews around. That person that left you a 1-star review, they can go and change that later if you kind of make right on it. They might not give you a 5-star review. Maybe they'll bump it up to a 3 and kind of edit their comments and saying, hey, I've changed my mind in the last 2 weeks, everybody. These people are okay, even though my food tasted horrible or whatever it was.
Right.
So, at any rate, you get response on that, and you get an alert from that on Review Lead, and you can respond to it and take care of that. So, check it out. Again, you guys are going to get a discount. It's $150 a month. If you opt in for the annual plan, pay all up front, you get a 20% discount on that. Brings it down to $120 a month. If you think about, is that cost effective for me or not? That sounds kind of expensive. What's it cost to not get one customer, right? If somebody searches for you and you pop up in the Google results, $150 a month to get one more customer, or to not have one customer, turn somewhere else. Is it worth it or not? You're going to know in your business. We can't tell you that, but most businesses out there, that's well worth it. So
it's a no-brainer.
No-brainer. Check it out, intrix.com/review150. All right. And with that quick plug for Review Lead, let's jump right into the episode. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to Local SEO Tactics. Jesse Dolan with Bob Brennan. And this week, we're going to be talking about the essential web pages that you need on your website. We talked about this in some episodes, going back and forth about what should I have on my website? What's the good number of pages? And a lot of you have been asking, what exactly should I have on there? What's the critical things that I need to have on my website as it relates to SEO and the signals that you're sending to Google? So we're going to kind of break those down today, go through our list. I'm sure if you did some Googling, you might find some that are or are not on our list here, but this is what we employ. This is the strategies that we use and what we're having great results with. So first thing, of course, is your homepage. Every website has a homepage almost by default. And as we've talked before, that's the most important page on your website, bar none.
Yep.
Whether you want it to or not, sometimes it shows up in search results, as the primary for your business. And really that's because Google knows that's the front door. That's the entrance to your building, as your business online. So it's very important to set that up for what is the primary things of your business. So we talked in episode 17 about using Google My Business categories as keywords. You definitely want to make sure you're doing that on your on the homepage of your website. Whatever your primary category is in your Google My Business, that should be the headline and in the tags and the descriptions of your homepage for your website. That's the primary thing that you do. That's what you want to get found for, and you want to send that signal to Google. The other main thing you want to do on your homepage is call out your location. Now, you may serve a lot of suburbs or a service area, right? Whatever city you're in, but you're physically located in one city, assuming you're a single location business.
Right.
If you're a multi-location business, have multiple branches, we'll talk about that in a second. This part right here is about you as one physical address for your business. You need to make sure that's very clear on the homepage of your website. Have your address listed. Having it on there 2 times is actually great. Kind of like a little contact type area, and then mention it somewhere in the body of the text on your website. Web page is ideal. And your phone number, just kind of these local signals to Google. Here's my area code, here's my zip code, here's my address. Even if you can embed a map, a Google map for your actual location, that just helps that too. So just to kind of quickly recap that homepage, make sure you're attacking your primary Google My Business keyword category and your location that you're in. Now you can also put on there some of the locations that you serve, or we serve, within 30 miles of Minneapolis, Minnesota, or whatever. That's fine too. You don't just have to say we're in Minneapolis.
Right. You
can talk about it and kind of expand on it. But don't mash in all your suburbs on your homepage. Don't try to attack with that. Just be very, very clear, almost like your business card, right? Or your one-page flyer. Here's where we are, here's what we do, and what we're all about.
What's a reasonable number of suburbs? I mean, there's a compromise between anything, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to list 30 suburbs, but
if we're talking on your homepage,
yeah,
I'd probably pick the top 2 or 3, maybe 3 to 5 on the high end.
Okay.
Because you want to be clear in your signals. There's another spot that we're going to talk about, your locations served page, where you go ahead and list all this stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, go ahead and list a couple on your homepage, but I wouldn't probably go over that, just because the more cities you add, the more you dilute that.
Right.
Now you're going to have, tying into your homepage, you're going to have a Google My Business listing. So Google already knows here's their GMB property, and we have their location and address listed on that. So you're kind of trying to replicate that on your homepage and let them know, yeah, this is my website. It's all tied in. I got the same message on both of these properties to kind of dominate in the Google Map Pack and in the natural results, right? So if we list, a dozen other cities on your homepage, that starts to look a little confusing, and you kind of dilute that primary city.
So it's kind of they'll see you're trying to spam it or over optimize it, and it's just not going to sit right with Google.
Yeah, that's actually another great point too. Yeah, it can definitely look a little spammy. So that's your homepage. Obviously, A1 is most essential website page on your website. Your other primary pages are going to be niche pages, niche, whatever. I go niche.
I just go niche. Yeah, the whole niche thing.
I don't care. You guys call it whatever you want. You're not going to hear me say niche outside of when I just said it right there.
Right.
So make your niche pages. And what we mean by that is really all your product and service pages that you offer, right? If you're doing auto repair, we've talked about it in other episodes, but the types of auto repair you do, individual pages like that. And then also those Google My Business categories. You picked one as your primary, but then you probably have maybe half a dozen other ones that you've selected. Try to frame those up as your niche pages too, because they're going to describe, what you do. And it's just important to get those out there as well. Those don't have to be linked in your main menu. I wouldn't say you want, 85 pages up on that top there. Sometimes you can have like a drop-down menu, under services or variations of that service. The exact layout is going to depend on the style of your website and what you want to do. But you do want to have these linked to be navigatable somehow by users and crawlable with the Google bot and things like that.
So as a local company, we're probabing talking about 7 to 10 services, basically.
I'd say so. Yeah.
Yeah. Because anything more than that, I'm not saying you can't have it, but it's going to be the exception to the rule, right?
Yeah, and because you can go on variations within a page too. Like if you do auto repair, let's say transmission repair is a specific category that you want to go after. You don't have to list every variation of transmission repair on a separate page. Have this page, I'm about transmission repair, and here's the types of transmissions we work on or the types of repair offered. From there, you can definitely branch out from there. Not saying that you can't,
right.
But I would start with, like you're saying, it's somewhere in that 7 to 10 range. Definitely making sure all of your Google My Business categories have a niche page, and all your primary products and services are identified with a niche page too. Within those, just like your homepage, we kind of skipped over that, but you're going to want photos, on there as well. We're not just creating a page here, but all the standard stuff that we've talked about. Do your proper headlines and tags, identify your keywords, make sure you're working them in, not to be too spammy, kind of find that balance of writing the content. Depending on where you search online or who you talk to, 500 words on each of these pages is really what you want to go after. Some places, 1,000 or 2,000 words as well.
Yeah.
I'd say as a minimum, if you're going to go under 300, you're probably going to have a hard time ranking. I would kind of use that 500 as your minimum. But if you have the ability to write 2,000 or 1,500 words, somewhere in that range,
that's better.
Yeah, man, go for it. That's more opportunity to talk about things. You want to keep it topical. You don't want to just ramble on about stuff that doesn't matter to what the topic of that page was. But for sure, add in some pictures. Make sure the pictures are relevant to the keyword or the category that you're going after. And like we've talked before as well, those pictures should be saved. The file names of those pictures, should incorporate those keywords and not just be, image 1, 2, 3, 4 as your standard, iPhone picture might be. And kind of roll all those in. So there again, you got your homepage and just kind of roll them back. Now you got all your niche pages for your products, services, and your Google My Business categories. Those are definitely going to be critical. And I would say if you're not going to do anything else that we're talking about, make sure you do that part on your website, because that's you're communicating what it is you sell and what your revenue streams are. The rest of the stuff we're going to get into kind of helps define who you are as a business, as an entity, and the locations that you serve, which are very important. It's like an A1 and an A2. Not like this is less important in a much less way, but start there. Make sure you have those suckers done. Otherwise, people don't know what it is that you're selling and serving, and neither does Google then. So
yeah. So in some ways, you're thinking of, you got to think of it as I got to communicate to two people, two entities on this. I got to communicate to the person that might land on my site, but I somehow have to communicate to Google in a kind of back-ended way. What we do, how we do it.
Yep.
And it's got to be legitimate in Google's eyes.
Yep. And with Google, they're kind of getting smarter with how their AI is starting to take over their algorithms, and they're really identifying user intent. So let's take like this auto repair example for transmission repair. If you're going to write your page about it, it's not just saying, I fix transmissions, I service transmissions, I rebuild transmissions. You also want to talk about some of the problems. Like, why is somebody coming to you?
Yeah.
Right? What's the question they're asking? That's literally going to be something they might be typing into Google, And if it's not, it's something that Google knows with how their AI is going. They know that somebody typing, this symptom, I don't know, stuttering, out of the gate, or
slipping,
shuddering, They know that that's a transmission problem just from the mass amount of searches and data that are collecting. So if you talk about that stuff on your page, like having, shuddering when you're accelerating, or kind of describe the problem, and come on, I mean, when people If you've been in business for a while, people are calling you saying, I have this problem, I have this need, what do I do in this situation? Use that on your content for these pages, and then talk about your solutions for it as well, and kind of frame it up. Not only is that going to do, like you're saying with Google, you're making the page for Google and for the user. That's also kind of a little cheat way to write more words. You know what I mean? Like, not just here's what I offer, but here's the questions people are asking me. Here's the problems they usually come to me with. Framing that up and typing that out in paragraphs, it's going to get you well on your way to that 500 words or more.
Yeah, I mean, if you've been in business long enough, you should know your customer.
Yep.
And you should know what they're experiencing or have experienced. And now, if you're new to this and you're just getting started, let's hope that, okay, maybe you're a mechanic and you're thinking about starting your own shop. Well, let's hope you've had some experience with what your customers are having problems with.
Yep.
And that's what you need to write about. And content writing is not fun.
No.
But as soon as you can get in the head of your customer, it becomes a little easier.
Right. And images are going to help that a lot too. Back in episode 20 and 21, we had Matt Addington in talking about how to take better images and really like how to have those images help tell a story for your website. This is a great spot to kind of mention that too. You want to take some images or find some stock photography to help kind of give that narrative for what you're talking about on that page, answering these questions and framing it up on that. So we'll move on. I kind of stalled us out a little bit too long there on those pages. That's more me talking than you asking questions. Those are great questions. But again, that kind of rounds out the most critical things you need in your website. Get that homepage looking good, and then get all your niche pages kind of rounded out so people know what it is that you're offering. Next very important page is your About Us page. Over the last few years, like for us, if you rewind the clock, 8 or 10 years ago, we used to make About Us pages, contact pages, and all that. Kind of stopped doing that. We kind of molded those into kind of one combo page, thinking it was a little bit redundant. Over the last year or so, that's our opinion has completely changed on that. Google wants to see an About Us and a contact page. An About Us and a Contact Us page. I'm going to break both of those down here for what those are and why they're important. First, the About Us page. A big thing for Google right now as it relates to local results is, are you legitimate? They're trying to filter out crappy businesses, shady businesses, illegitimate businesses, to just focus on real businesses and connect you with that. Your About Us page is a great tool to do that. That's where you're going to tell your story, tell your history, who you are, who's on your team. I mean, anything you want to do. You don't need to have 18 pages, or a huge amount of content. Again, try to get at least 500 words, up to 2,000 words if you can. Mix it in these pictures. And just, who are you? You know what I mean? What's your history? When were you founded?
Now, this is something I have issue with. I know you're correct on this.
Yep.
But as a consumer, I'm like clicking on, I need something.
Yeah.
Let's just say if it's over $5,000-$10,000, I'm going to want to crawl into the About Us and find out who I'm dealing with, right?
Yep.
But if it's to fix my car or even my roof, and roofs can be expensive.
I know what you're saying.
But you get the idea. But here, again, the message needs to be clear. Google wants to know about you and your business, and it kind of has to be done in such a way that it's tied in with your business, right?
Yep. Yeah, if you think about it, exactly like you're saying, it's probably irrelevant. Depending on your business niche, it's probably irrelevant for a lot of people. That's really not what this is for. This is to send these signals to Google that this is about us. This is who we are. You're mentioning your people, your brands, again, your history, locations, where you've been at. They're going to get all this data. And Google isn't just something that grabs words out of websites now. I mean, they have, machine learning, artificial intelligence to help provide these results to people. So they're taking in this information as a user. Us humans may glaze over this, like you're saying, depending on the price point of the product. But Google's not. They're scraping all of your data and coming up with these decisions to align user intent, legitimate business, all these things. Your About Us page is that spot for you to communicate to them. We're legit. We've been around since, 1993, or 2004, whatever it is, calling that out. And I always use this example. Like if you and I had exact same websites, all things being equal, if I'm going to give Google these signals saying I'm a legitimate business established in 1993, they're going to give me a little bit more credit. That's just one more signal. They know what that means now. They can literally parse that out, established in business sense, things like that. And that carries some weight because they want to give people legitimate results. So So yeah, just whatever you can do in that About Us page and tell that story. And with all these things too, you can come back to them later.
Yeah.
You can add to it. Having the page out there, literally calling it About Us, so it's, bobsfishing.com/about us. And that can be about us as in one word. Even better is about-us, in my personal opinion. Get that out there. Same thing with your contact us page. That's going to be, just like it sounds, more germane to the contact information, how to get a hold of you. You're going to want that basic contact information on every page of your website. Like I said earlier, just like on your homepage, have your address listed, have a driving direction map, would be great. Put your phone number. If you're okay with putting an email address out there, go ahead and put that out there.
Right.
Sometimes people don't want to do that because that can get screen scraped and you can start to get spammed on email pretty quick. So if you're going to list your email address on a contact us page or just in your kind of contact us box, if you will, on any given page, definitely do like an info at or, contact at type deal. Don't list, Bob's address or something that you're going to be comfortable managing spam on, quite frankly, because that's going to happen. But put all that on your contact page. It's, again, most users maybe aren't going to get to your contact page. They're going to find your contact information on whatever page they landed on. If you're doing it right, you should have a huge ass phone number, on your website.
Yeah.
So they don't need to go to the contact page.
And that's always, that's just it. That's something that's always amazed me is why companies hide their phone number.
Right.
I mean, if there's a reason for it, it's like, okay, I guess why have a website if you really don't want people to contact you? Right. But I mean, if you're going to have a website, my rule on this, that phone number has got to be big, bad, and bold at the top. And I mean, your grandma, no offense to grandma, she's got to be able to find it within a couple seconds.
Well, we think about sometimes, as a business owner, your ego kind of gets in there, right? And you're like, I want a beautiful looking website. I want it to really look good and whatever. And you lose sight of the purpose of the website. Yeah. It's somebody's got a question or a problem. You want them to find your website and then contact your business. Now maybe you're averse to phone calls, but if you're not, if you actually want phone calls, then make that sucker as huge as possible. So again, I'm getting a little sidetracked. It's hopefully they don't ever get to your contact page, right? Again, this is something that's kind of more for Google than the average end user, although some people will go there. Some pieces of information that can be found on there, your standard stuff, your phone number, email address, like we said, driving directions, address. But this is also a spot where you can put your business hours, anything else that's related to contact type questions. The contact form is usually a kind of a common thing you'd have there, quote form maybe, or depending on what your service is, and any other kind of information like that. If you have an after hours hotline number or things like that, or start a support ticket, whatever. But again, the main thing on that is you're sending the signal to Google. Like, here's all of our contact information. Now, whether they parse some of that out to go in the knowledge panel or, in some other form for how they're displaying on your website, or just to let them know you're legitimate.
Right.
Like, we have a contact page. Here's all this information. Yep, that matches up with all the other stuff you're seeing on our social profiles and everything else. It's kind of your main record for your contact information. Definitely an important page to have on your website. Another very important page is to have your reviews or testimonials. Now, if you're using a product like Review Lead, Intrix.com/review150, if you haven't checked that out yet,
shameless plug,
special deal for you. Something like that will integrate the reviews, right into a page like this automatically for you. If you don't have something like that up and running, this is where you'd want to type those out and have those be just snippets that you're putting on your website for reviews and testimonials. You don't even have to pull them in from Google or Facebook, right? You can just go copy and paste that. If somebody leaves you a review on Google, you can copy that, put that in there and say, this is a review from Google from Bob. And here's what he said, gave us 5 stars. But just having a page on your website that has this information from users, whether it's embedded, automated, or just hand typed by you, call it reviews or call it testimonials. Again, in our opinion, bobsfishing.com/reviews or /testimonials. You're sending a signal to Google saying, I have a page that displays customer testimonials. Right. Now you can use some markup schema and do some other stuff to, and I'll put a link to schema.org in the show notes so people can, if you don't know what we're talking about there, it might help you out a little bit, or reach out to us if you need help with that. But that's where you're going to tell Google, this is a page about reviews and testimonials. Number one, they want to see that information. It actually bumps your SEO, makes you legitimate. And number two, for all the people that do, like maybe it's your $10,000 threshold, whatever it is, let me see a little bit more about these people. Checking out their reviews, checking out their About Us page, that kind of secondary type pages before you make that decision. of just instantly calling them if it's like a break fix situation, if they want to learn more. The reviews and testimonials is going to be a great page. Usually that's curated by you. You're not going to have your 1-star reviews on there or, anything that's negative. People understand that. Don't be bashful about it only being glowing reviews.
Right.
Again, if you're using something like Review Lead or an automated deal, you can usually set kind of a filter or a gateway saying only 4.0 and higher reviews, are going to be shown on this page, things like that. I can't think of any reason, maybe you can, why you'd want something, semi-negative on there. If they want to get that stuff, down at the bottom, I should mention too, a good practice is to have links to reviews on the bottom of these pages. So display your reviews, and then at the bottom, leave us a review, or read more reviews on Facebook, Google, wherever you're getting these reviews from. Put links outbound to those places. People can either then go, again, read more, find those 1-star reviews if they really want to fact check you and find out what the ugly part is, because we all got it. And to an extent, we've talked with customers before too. If you got some businesses online, some are 5.0, rating with 17 reviews, and somebody else has 112 and they're a 4.2. We kind of feel like that's more legit. The 4.2, you trust that a little bit more. It's not just their friends and family leaving reviews at that point. So.
I personally look at like 4.5 and above.
Yeah.
It's not like I discard the 4.2, but if it's 4.5 and above, I'm going to call them first, and then whatever. Because I know out of 100 and some, you're not going to keep everybody happy, and that's just the law of nature in terms of you get 100 people in a room, somebody's going to be 2 or 3 people are going to be pretty hacked.
Right. And then again, inversely, if all they have is 5.0 and there's 12 of them, I'm usually reading those like, okay, are these legit or not? Even because it just seems too good to be true. So put links to the bottom of your review and testimonial page for people to bounce out and read more about those. And then also, that's the spot where you can solicit it. So again, going back, let's say you have a review system automated like Review Lead. Hey, great. People are going to get pinged and give you feedback and reviews. If you don't, this is where maybe you want to send them an email. Hey, can you leave us a review? Go to our, blank / review. And at the bottom, you'll find links to leave us reviews. It's a great resource for that too.
Yep.
But again, all these pages really, the main reason is to send these signals to Google. You want to write this stuff for the end user, make it functional for all of us human beings. But these are the pages you're going to want to put out there for Google to see that you're putting these pages out there so they can show, they can see that you're legitimate and a real business. The last kind of real essential page that we'd say to put on your website is your locations served. Now, that doesn't have to mean you actually go out, and like mobily visit or mobily service these, but where is your customer base pulling from, right? What suburbs do you want to target customers in? Like you were asking earlier, how many should I put on my homepage, right? This is where you'd put everybody, it's a little spammy, but as long as you're calling it out as a locations served or cities we do business in type of a page, nothing negative is going to come of it. You don't want to do this on every page. This is the one page to kind of be able to do that. Not saying this is some secret sauce that's going to suddenly get you popping in some suburb that you haven't been popping in that you used to before. Google's changed things. But this is a page where you can send that signal and at least have the chance to kind of mention these other suburbs. There's other tactics we're going to talk in some future episodes. We're still proving out some things on how to help you expand your zone. Right. But this is a page that you're going to want to put on your website. Locations served, areas served. I would use that exact kind of verbiage. Again, locations -served, be my URL of choice. And if you want to put pictures up of any landmarks in these cities, if you just want to put a bulleted list of the cities served, whatever you want to do. Again, this is mainly put out there for the signal to Google, saying these are the areas I do business in, on the off chance they're actually going to include you in those results and kind of build some authority there. But also for customers, if somebody's searching, if you live in maybe a smaller suburb of a certain town and you just know there's nobody that provides that service, for you. And so you kind of broaden your search. Instead of near me, you're just doing in the greater, like we're in the Twin Cities, right? So Minneapolis is the biggest city. Maybe you're a smaller suburb, but you just know there's nobody that does transmission repair here. So you're going to search transmission repair Minneapolis. Actually, that's probably bad because I'd be going there. But if it was a service where they come to me, like auto glass repair, let's say, right? Like, do they come out to my suburb or not? Let me check their location served page. So it is functional for users. But again, that's not the primary reason for having it.
So is that tied back to GMB at any point, the location served, or?
Yeah, great question, actually. Thanks for bringing that up. In your GMB, you can call out the locations that you do serve, right? Either by radius or listing them out. You want to mimic that here too. I would make sure those match up. If one of them is not aligned, it's not going to be the worst thing in the world, but everything you're doing here with your GMB and your website, try to sync them up to be identical. The more identical you can be, you're sending the same signals to Google, and it's going to do nothing but give you good results.
So, and that's really what Google wants to see, is that you're local and that everything is legit and you're tied together.
Yep.
Because the thinking is, a local company is going to make all that happen. A company that's really not located in that area is a great marketer, probably going to make that happen. So they need to get pushed down further down the list.
Yep. Yeah, and we're talking about listing the actual cities, zip codes. You can use zip codes too. But again, back to your point, if it's something, Google My Business, your Google My Business page is probably your most restricted area in that, where you're actually saying to Google, here's where I serve, and they'll penalize you or suspend your listing if you try to be too egregious with that and kind of lie about it. So you really have to kind of have your best foot forward and be truthful in where you really do serve, where you're primarily pulling customers. Hey, you may travel 3 states away, but if that's not really where you do business, don't make your zone that big, right? So on your page here too, follow that same guideline. Like would I put my GMB service area, including these cities? If you try to use it for spammy purposes, then that's going to have a kind of a bad consequence, or it's not going to show up at all or give any positive benefit. So yeah, I would kind of tie that in with my GMB. Absolutely. So that's pretty much it for this week's episode. Hopefully that helps you guys out, lets you know this is kind of the basic framework of the types of pages that you're going to want on there. Back in episode 6 and 7, we talk about kind of some basic approach on how to develop these pages. So if you want a little bit more tidbits on how to actually construct these pages and best practices for building the pages, check back to those, episodes 6 and 7. But hopefully this gives you kind of a good framework on, if I don't have these pages, I better go create them right now and give you some improvement. So something else we want to share with you guys, it's been a few episodes since we mentioned it. People take advantage of it basically every day, is our instant SEO audit. So whether you create some of these new pages here we're talking about, or you want to check some existing pages that you had, if you made some changes to it, go to intrix.com. Up in the top right corner, you're going to see a big yellow button that says Instant SEO Audit. Yep. Let's hit a double check there on the screen. Click that. It takes about 15 seconds. Plug in the page that you want to audit, plug in the keyword you want to run it against, and your email address. It's going to show you real quick on the screen, kind of a big checklist, and it's going to grade your page for all kinds of different SEO factors. It's also going to email you that. So you can check it out quick and then just close the browser, and you get that PDF later in your email. You can share it with your team or whoever you want. Take action on it. Super awesome tool, completely free. Use it as many times as you want. Use it over and over again on the same page. Doesn't really matter. And you can also kind of reverse engineer a competitor's page too. If you got somebody else that's outranking you, you're trying to catch up to them. Slick. Yeah, it's super slick, kind of spying on them a little bit there. You can use it for that too. Again, just plug in the website URL that you want to get the audit on, plug in the keyword that you want to audit against, your email address, and you're off to the races. So we're going to get into the 5-star review of the week. We keep getting these reviews. We're going to keep reading them. Keep saying this, man, but we love them. Lets us know we're on the right track, that we're bringing value to you folks. And if you haven't shared that with us already, and if you do think we're bringing you value, we definitely want to hear that. Intrix.com/iTunes. It's going to leave us a review on iTunes. Let us know how we're doing. It's got a real quick how-to to do that. If you could go to intrix.com/iTunes, quick graphic and a tutorial on how to leave that review on iTunes, because you got to kind of go through the app or it on your desktop. But we'd really appreciate it. Lets us know we're on the right track. This week, we're going to read one from, I don't know how to pronounce this, so I'm just going to kind of read off the letters for the username here, but it's QTAHI. Any guess?
Yeah.
I'm going to completely butcher it. So
you're talking to the dyslexic here. So.
Right. So great 5-star review. Says very informative, 5 stars. This is a great podcast to listen to, especially if you struggle with SEO like I do. I like how Jesse answers questions on air, because this is definitely a topic that people struggle with. At least I do. I hope I'm not alone. Definitely not alone. If you want to call us, knowledgeable at SEO in any aspect, we're still learning stuff every day too, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to do, is learn stuff, implement it, see if it works or not, and then share it with you folks. You are not alone. That's great feedback to have, to let everybody else know too. If you're struggling with this, if you think you are alone, or you're the first person to ever have these challenges, you're definitely not. Hopefully we're helping you out with the topics on the show. And again, we've said before too, if you have something particularly you want us to talk about, we do take these questions, just like you're saying here. So intrix.com/show, let us know what you're having a struggle with. And we may reach out to you personally, outside of the show to help you out if it's an easy, quick fix, or if you require some services. But if it's something you want discussed and it's going to help other people, that's what we're trying to do. So thanks again for the 5-star review. Everybody else, intrix.com/iTunes to leave us a review, or intrix.com/show to let us know